Hi, Mochismo Eugene. Welcome to another video from Exit Strategy. Please like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it helpful. Pass it on to someone else you believe would benefit from it. Thank you. There is a shift. There is a major, major shift in our world and the environment around us, from your immediate circle, as far as you can see in your day-to-day life, to far beyond where you live, just in the world in general. And the reason why that shift is happening is because God is allowing this shift to happen. Now, it kind of reminds me of the church, and a lot of the churches in these motivational preachers will say, God is shifting, he's shifting. And you're damn right, he's shifting, but not in that snake oil type gospel. He is shifting things in the respects of, I guess they would be talking about darkness and light to some degree, but most often the snake charming preachers would be talking about God is shifting things in your favor. He's doing this and that, health and wealth, prosperity. And some of you all may believe in that prosperity gospel, and that's fine. But I'm going to tell you something. God is going to do things in his own timing. And before things get better for you, they're going to get much, much worse if you're embracing his principles, his precepts, and the way that he does business. The allowing you to go through things that you go through, it is a combination of reasons. It's either based on your choices and your free will to do so. And the second part of that, by way of other people inflicting undue, unjust harm to you, to no fault of your own. So it's two ways that you can struggle. You can struggle because of your choices and because of the premeditated agenda other people have, which are often people of darkness. So back to what I'm saying, God is shifting. He's shifting in a major way. And he did that, as far as I can remember, in a major way during the pandemic. And I'm 55 this year. The pandemic is probably one of the worst things that I have ever experienced in the sense or I've ever been conscious of in our world that happened in a major way where it just made time stand still. And I was yet still working. I was essential, but even going to work, I told a story years ago when I was driving. I took a drive out to Syracuse from where I'm living at now, which is 45 minutes away. And in that drive, I drove 100 miles an hour, literally on the interstate thruway. And some would say that's terribly fast. Well, generally people are driving 85. That's just a normal. And if you're driving 65, 75, you're cruising, people would just, sweep right by you. And it's a good highway. But my bigger point is I was doing 100 miles an hour here or there, most of the way. And if I saw 5 cars in that 45-minute drive, I would say 10. If I saw 10 cars within that 45-minute drive, it would probably be a fair guesstimation, 10 cars. Now, we've seen movies like this. We've seen different movies where, let's say, a Will Smith movie when he was I Am Legend. We've seen movies with Mel Gibson. Eyes get dry, guys, excuse me. Mel Gibson, when he had the movie way back, a lot of you may remember this, with Grace Jones, Mel Gibson, and all of those stellar actors. It was Road Warrior. And they've remade this movie in many ways, but just put a spin on it. And that's one aspect of where I'm going with this too. There's all this recycled foolishness. And most of us who remember Road Warrior soon forget that, wow, they making a movie similar to Road Warrior. This is a copycat thing. And this is what the world does. They run out of tricks and they just keep on recycling and recycling. So what I'm trying to say to you is now there is this shift where there's no more ideas. Pandemic, the clubs. Well, not let's start with the stores. The stores were shut down for a big period, and when they opened back up, take Walmart for example. Walmart, even now, 5 years after the pandemic, they close at 11:30, I think. Don't quote me on that. I don't go that often. So 11:30. So that means no stores are 24 hours. Only stores that are 24 hours in my area. You have a few gas stations, depending on what the brand of that service station is here or there. They're the only things that are open 24 hours. And that's very well because of travelers and traveling. People have to travel throughout the night. And if all the gas stations were closed during the night, people couldn't travel. So I understand that point. So when you put this in perspective, the clubs, the night spots here in this area, I can't even think of a night spot to go to even have what you call a good time or a nice time or a safe time out. I don't drink. I don't party. I don't even go out like that. But to those who do, I am looking at even those people. Most people are taking it back to the house. They're doing sit-arounds at home now. And rightly so, because going into a club now, you can go in a club now and pretty much not make it back out without having a bullet in you or having to dodge a bullet. You go to a party thinking you're just going to go there and listen to some music, dance, and have a few drinks, and it ends up being a shootout. And you don't even know what's going on. You're not even involved in it because it's just two groupings of people that happen upon each other, and they got so much narcissism in them, so much ego, so much pride, so much hatred and hostility until where there is no safe haven to go and just have a good old time. And with the presence of alcohol and all these illicit drugs, that just further creates havoc with narcissists. Because narcissists are very much extremists. If you get a narcissist that doesn't do drugs, is a demon. So hyperimpose alcohol, drugs, being marijuana, meth, and all this other crazy stuff that they're experimenting with, bleach, roach killer. I hear a lot of different things that people are experiencing and mixing and making. And that's another thing about a narcissist. They always create dumbass ideas. And I'm going to tell you, I had a birthday 4 or 5 years ago. I took a picture of this birthday cake that I believe she's a narcissist. It's supposed to be a healing, show you how to do holistic medicines, and watch people like that too. And to some degree, like soaps, I love stuff like that. But a narcissist behind this type of stuff, they concoct and create stuff out of a back room in their house or out of a hotel, motel room. They'll just create something out of their head. It won't even be tested, and they will endorse it and pretend like it's selling like hotcakes. Before you know it, you're breaking out. You don't know where it came from, how this started, and you can't even get in touch with these people because they're traveling salesmen. They sell you a bunch of BS. Now, I'm not saying holistic approaches to life and certain things are all bad. What I'm saying is narcissists observe healthy, wholesome, even holy things, and they gather around it and they mimic it and they copy it. This is the very best way to see how fractured our world is. All of those things that we used to do, and we used to hold those things near and dear. Like I said, going out partying. You had a fight here and there, here or there when somebody got a little bit too much to drink. Often you'd have somebody come out there, a friend, a cousin, sister, brother, and talk some sense into them. It would either drive them home or they would tell them, go get in the car and sleep it off. And they would obey. Not now. its people wake up to go to Walmart, to the return desk, and argue over a 25-cent item. Narcissists. They will get dressed, won't wash their butt, and will dress to the nines, all for attention, right? And get there at that Walmart and make a straight scene. These are loud, egotistical, obnoxious people. Wherever you see them at, you'll see them at a football game. They're cheering excessively, and it's so out of pocket. It's so unorthodox. They're clapping 10 minutes after everybody's clapped for whatever that thing was. Not to say that monkey see, monkey do, but it's just a certain thing called harmony. They're very disjointed. They're out of harmony. So staying on point, there is a shift, and this shift is happening in so many different ways. It's happening in a variety of ways, to the point now being awakened. I don't really see a lot of joy to be had as far as endeavoring to do these things out and about. I believe empaths awaken, the only joy that we are going to find is the joy within ourselves that we create, and the things that we enjoy doing by way of just exercising our God-given gifts to our fellow man. Wherever we see there's a need, and genuinely and authentically there is a desire for people to be helped by us. We're not wasting our time on spilled milk. We're not wasting our time with people that we intuitively know are just full of bullshit. You know, in times past, we would downplay it. It's not my place to just, look at this person, I just did it and that's that. With that same token, we approach people in that same fashion. But if our intuition tells us to back off, we back off. If our intuition tells us not to give, we don't give. If our intuition tells us curve that person, we curve them. If the intuition tells us don't be messed up with that person, we won't get ourselves involved with them. It's a new day dawning. And so that shift is also what God is doing by way of these narcissists sitting in their cars. Because after the pandemic, a lot of us sat in our cars, and frequently you'll see people sitting out in their cars because, narcissists are not here or there. But a lot of times, let's say you'll see them sitting in the park. You'll see them sitting in the parking lot. This was always a thing here or there. But after the pandemic, post-pandemic, people have just found it's pretty just convenient to just hang out in your car. But distinctively, you will notice a narcissist, they hang out in their car like that's their house. A lot of them living out of their cars. Not just because it's a financial crisis that we all are facing, and some of us, even empath, as a result of situations involving a narcissist, some of us are sleeping in our cars. So what I'm trying to show you, a lot of things that healthy people or empaths, non-narcissists do, narcissists pattern their whole lifestyles, and their day-to-day life after what they see empaths do. And when they do it, it's all because they see that there is some fashionable, financial, attention to be given to them. They just want the attention to be victim, poor me, poor me, poor me. But most people are none the wiser that they put themselves in that situation because they sabotaged that relationship. That's why they're living in their car, as opposed to an empath that may be living in their car because that narcissist drained their bank account, didn't pay the mortgage for 5 years, got evicted from the house, foreclosed on the house, got evicted from the apartment that the empath thought the narcissist was paying rent. They're getting the mail, intercepting the mail for last attempts for rent, and you're the last person to find out. And so locks on the doors when you get there. You're looking stupid like, hey, what's happening? I don't know. What you asking me for? They will lie until the bus out. They don't even care about the depth of the loss, because in their mind, they're a child. And for you to confront them about something like that, they take a defense mechanism to a whole new level. Instead of, in most cases, we would just somewhat fess up and say, man, I messed up. You will never hear a narcissist readily admit they messed up, they made a mistake. They just ball that piece of paper up in that episode of life and start over on a brand new sheet of paper. This is essentially what happens with a narcissist. Like you give a kid paper. You ever give a child a notebook and you tell them, learn how to write your name. And you will start out and you'll write it 1 or 2 or 3 times. You'll keep on doing it and you'll hold their hand. You'll hold their hand. You remember you used to hold their hand and you draw. And so they'll kind of can mimic what you do. Narcissists don't like to mimic what you do if you try to instruct them. They mimic what you do unbeknownst to you. They don't want to give credit to you. And see, so that ego tells them, I am the leader. Even when they don't know a damn thing about what you're instructing them to do, their ego, they will ask, how do you do that? And then when you dig in to try to show them, and this is what's playing in the background in their head. They are angry or envious and spiteful. They hate you know what you know, and they hate that they had to ask you for a leg up or information about this. And so when they ask you, it's all a ruse. And so back to the child, you're scribbling and you do 1 or 2 times and you leave little Susan there to write this. And when you come back, guess what? A whole notebook with 250 sheets in it. They have each and every sheet. They haven't done any of the things you told them to do, not even an attempt. Each sheet you open, they've done an X or just random scribble. It's no rhyme or reason to it. The whole notebook. The whole notebook. And if you look and observe them, because this is destructive mentality, they are destroying. And this is oppositional defiance at its best. So that shift I'm talking about, you see these narcissists sitting in their cars at the gas stations. They glued to the phone. They want to look super important. So this is how they're trying to nab unsuspecting simps, like a lot of us have been. And simps in the sense of we're simpletons because we just don't know what God is trying to show us. We don't know what we're supposed to know. We don't know that, listen, everything that looks good is not good for you. We know, but we don't know. Because we're not embracing what we should know and know forefront, not at the back of our mind. We need to have it at the forefront of our mind. And when you're awakened as an empath, you don't want to get lax and allow these things that you see with your eyes and your intuition tells you. You don't want them to get pushed back at the back of your mind. You need to keep them at the forefront, almost like a face shield to protect you. The eyes are the window of the soul. The eyes are also, they're visual cues as to that what draws us into things in the physical, be it a car, a painting, a house, store. Colors play a big part into our sensory. And so when you see a woman or a woman sees a man, this is often what strikes a chord with us, and it causes us to abandon a lot of the things that we should be holding close to our chest. We need to hold those things that we value close to our chest. And this is what you will see if you do this. Continue to hold these things that your convictions and your boundaries close to your chest. You will see that this shift is in everyday life. When you get up on a daily, you'll see the shift, and you'll see the people that I'm speaking of, namely the narcissists. They are walking around, they are driving around in circles, the same old, same old. They are not doing anything constructive. They are on a repeat. They are on a loop. And this is what they've always been on. But the loop was just so much bigger. They had a lot more territory they could cover. But the pond is drying up. The fish are very few now, and they're not getting a big catch. The ones who they are catching, they are wishing they should have thrown them back. And because what they're getting entangled with is people who are not much better than they are. And this is why you see all this chaos in the clubs. Only club goers are out there now are narcissists going to clubs with narcissists. This is why all these knockdown, drag out fights, shootings, and all this other stuff is happening. So that shift is happening on a whole new level. It's happening in the family dynamic. Family members are not allowing a family member to abuse them for a second and third time. They're cutting them off. They're cutting them off at the gate. Workplace employees are not even bothered by the job threats or anymore. They're quitting the jobs, not even being threatened. They're quitting their jobs because they're just not, because they just can't smoke weed all day on the job. They're calling in, even if they're able to smoke weed at the jobs, they're calling in because people, these jobs need people because nobody wants to work now. Pandemic did a big deal with a lot of us. Even pretty strong, sane people are struggling 5 years later after this pandemic. Because this is something the average human being was just not prepared for. But I would never lose sight of the fact of what happened. Because we not only went through a pandemic of that proportion, most of us on these platforms now who woke up in 2020, we had a double doozy. We were shut in with narcissists and the country was shut down. But it ended up being a blessing for us because had it not been shut down, it wouldn't have caused that narcissist to be in close proximity with us on a regular basis. And I think by design, God allowed that to happen. So think about that sometime, guys. This was by God's design. So therefore, you guys who are awake, stay vigilant, stay vibrating high, and pay attention to the shift. Pay attention to these people who are standing around, sitting around, moving around in a loop, and who are looking very tasty to the eyes, but very, very bitter to the stomach. That being said, bless.